An Eternity by Elton Gar. Fear threatened to overwhelm Sean as the helmet was attached securely to his head. The psychiatrist tried not to admit that fear even to himself, but how could he not be afraid? Two men had been driven insane by the device he was wearing, but it was his job to heal them. The only way he could start doing that was to understand what had caused the insanity. He had occupied the chair for nearly 2 hours, during which they closely monitored his brainwaves and calibrated the machinery accordingly. To alleviate the tension that hung in the air, he regaled the scientists with jests while they fastened heart rate monitors. He also took a moment to converse with the nurse, sharing anecdotes about his beloved cat, letting the woman distract him from his fear. He only succumbed to that fear when they secured the straps tightly over his arms so he couldn't injure them when he began thrashing, but even then he kept his fear under control. The machine will turn off automatically after 30 seconds. And if I take my thumb off the button, it will turn off immediately, Sean said. Correct. Start whenever you want. Sean took 3 deep breaths. He didn't understand the machine well. He thought not knowing might help protect him. What he knew was that it let him see the paranormal world. A spirit world which had driven 2 trained paranormal investigators insane. After a brief pause, he depressed the button and awaited the unknown with bated breath. The surroundings blurred before coming into sharp focus. The lab measured a mere 20 square feet and had hundreds of people. They moved slowly, passing through each other and showing no sign that they saw any of the others. As the machine continued to hum to life, the walls dissolved, revealing a vast white expanse teeming with millions of individuals who moved in eerie solitude, oblivious to their fellow occupants. How had this barren spectacle driven men to madness while others remained untouched? Had they glimpsed some truth that eluded him? He tried not to think about it too much. Better to consider the possibilities when it was less real. But as he watched the faces, no one looked up, no one spoke, and no one smiled. Sean began to understand. These people were here because there was no place else to go. They were confined to this desolate realm, to wander isolated and alone in a world without even landscapes, and to do it for eternity. If a divine presence existed, it seemed indifferent, and this revelation gnawed at Sean's sanity. As he understood, he let go of the button and began to pull at his restraints. "Let me out," Sean said as he struggled against the bands of cloth which held him down. The image of those people wouldn't leave his mind. An eternity with no hope, no joy, with nothing. The thought continued to push inside his skull while he continued to pull against the straps, unable to face the grim realization that he too would soon join their ranks. Author's note: I don't write a lot of horror, and frankly this story is why. I think it turned out well. It certainly got across the feeling I intended. But that's the problem. When I'm done reading it, I don't feel better about anything, and I don't feel like there is any real point to it, or anything else. Of course, this isn't the only type of horror, and there is something to be said for any story that makes a person feel something. But there are other people who seem to enjoy writing stories filled with dread and hopelessness, and are able to infuse it with something that I can't quite put my finger on. That said, I still hope you like the story. As I said, I think it succeeded in what was attempted. If you'd like to read my other, generally far more uplifting stories, you can sign up for my newsletter by going to www.ansci-fi.com and following the link that says free book, or you can sign up for free at Patreon and get notified when I put up stories. And if you want to go one step further, you can sign up with my Patreon at any paid level and get access to all my short stories, vote on what Patreon exclusive stories I'll write, and of course read those Patreon exclusive stories. Thanks. Elton Gar.